I ultimately got my cheating stepmother fired, her boyfriend arrested, and her life completely ruined. And it all started with a chance encounter at a hotel pool. A little over a week ago, I caught my dad's wife, Brenda, at a hotel pool with a man I'll call Marco. And let's just say they weren't there to work on their backstroke. You see, Brenda and Marco have a history. About a year ago, only 6 months after she married my father, she left him for Marco. My dad, bless his heart, let her go and began the divorce proceedings. Unfortunately, before the paperwork could be finalized, she came crawling back. She spun a tale of regret, claiming Marco beat her, that he never loved her, that leaving was a terrible mistake. So my dum-dum dad, ever the forgiving man, took her back. He had no idea that in just 4 short months, this act of forgiveness would detonate in a way that would shatter multiple lives, starting with his. And that brings us to the hotel pool. Just 4 months after her dramatic return, here she was, playing tonsil hockey with Marco when she was supposed to be at her office. Luckily for us, she was too absorbed to notice my husband and me. We snapped a few very clear, very damning photos and slipped away unnoticed. I was furious, ready to send the pictures to my dad right then and there, but my husband and I decided that simple exposure wasn't enough. More could, and should, be done. Now, there's a crucial piece of context here. My dad has supported Brenda and her children for years, and she has expensive tastes. She had only recently landed a job, but it was a very good one. In fact, she was in the process of becoming a 1/3 owner of the business. My sisters and I had long suspected her rapid success was thanks to some extracurricular activities with the wealthy, recently divorced business owner, who I'll call Mr. Harrison. He'd taken Brenda under his wing with a spontaneity that raised all of our eyebrows. I had no proof she was cheating with Mr. Harrison, only with Marco, but I figured it couldn't hurt to reach out to her boss with my findings and see how he'd react. This was the moment the plan shifted from simple exposure to something far more calculated. It was driven by a core belief that a betrayal this deep shouldn't just be revealed, it should be dismantled, piece by piece. Since Brenda was supposed to be at work, I called her office. Brenda had always pretended to be a loving stepmom, even faking a difficult but endearing relationship with me for public appearances. Her office was even decorated with Facebook photos of me and my family, so the receptionist knew exactly who I was and put me straight through to the owner. "Hi Chloe," Mr. Harrison said, his voice laced with concern. "Is everything okay with Brenda?" I decided to be direct. "Well, that kind of depends. How close are you really with my dad's wife?" The line went quiet, then a flustered, stammering voice replied, Excuse me? Never mind," I said, pressing on. "Look, I'm going to be straight with you. Brenda is out with her ex-boyfriend Marco when she should be there working." Silence. "Hello?" I prompted. His voice returned, defensive. "Why should I believe you? All you've done is lie about Brenda." Right. She had painted herself as a permanent victim to him, too. "I'll send you some pictures I took," I offered. He gave me his email address, and I sent them. Then, silence again. While I waited, I moved to the next phase of the plan. I called my gym, which also happened to be Marco's gym. There was a nasty rumor circulating that he'd been selling steroids to other members. It was a simple lie, a fabrication designed to make a point, but I had no way of knowing that this small, targeted falsehood would set in motion a chain of events that would lead to police blotters and prison time. I told the gym manager that Marco had tried to sell me steroids the previous week. I said I no longer felt safe and wanted to cancel my membership immediately. When they asked if I was going to file a police report, I told them no, explaining that Marco had a temper and I was afraid of retaliation. They were understanding and canceled my membership on the spot. You know, looking back, as one person later commented, the most unbelievable part of this whole saga might just be how easily I canceled that gym membership over the phone. Finally, after laying all the groundwork, I sent my dad the pictures, along with a long message telling him how much I loved and supported him. And then, we waited. The results of my half-assed sabotage, as I initially called it, began to roll in over the next week. First, Brenda lost her job and any chance of co-ownership. Mr. Harrison apparently made a huge scene, trashing her things in the office in front of everyone. A customer who witnessed the meltdown posted a heavily detailed, and very nasty, review on a local Facebook rant page. In our small town, a review like that is devastating. It torpedoed Brenda's image. Someone even replied with a story about Brenda having an affair with their husband at her previous job 3 years ago. Second, the gym took my complaint very seriously. As it turned out, Marco had rented a locker there. The waiver he'd signed allowed the gym to search it whenever they deemed necessary, and my complaint was deemed necessary. According to the police blotter, what they found inside wasn't steroids, but an unregistered handgun. Did I mention Marco was already a felon? So, poor Marco wasn't just losing his gym membership, he was probably going to prison. Third, my dad's wife was now living in a hotel. Between the photos, her getting fired by Mr. Harrison, and her boyfriend being sent away, my dad threw her out. She was hysterical, apparently less about my dad and more about Marco. She refused to even come see her own kids, who were still living with my dad while he tried to keep things calm for them. She didn't seem to care about any of them. She did, however, give me a call. I let it go to voicemail. It was mostly just shrieking and sobbing, but I could clearly make out the phrases "I'm going to kill you" and "you ruined my life." As one commenter later pointed out, a direct threat of murder is something you take straight to the police to start the paper trail for a restraining order, and I'm seriously considering it. For the first time in a long time, I'm feeling giddy about the future. My dad will hopefully start being happier now that the source of so much pain is gone. This story is a stark reminder that betrayal has consequences, and sometimes, protecting the ones you love means ensuring those who hurt them get exactly what they deserve. So I have to ask, was this revenge petty, or was it perfectly proportional to the crime? What would you have done in my shoes?